Hello and welcome to the Tennis Podcast, coming to you from Flushing Meadows, New York, on day 9 of the US Open. It is 5:30 in the evening. It is Labor Day. The sun is shining. The crowds are buzzing. The honey juices are flowing. And we are absolutely thrilled to be joined for part 1 of today's show by the one and only, the incomparable, the woman with an Aperol Spritz in hand, appropriately for the last days of summer. It is, of course, Mary Carillo.
I just came on, honestly, because David picked Naomi Osaka to win, correct?
Correct.
I just needed to see the grin on his face. Look at that sinister laughter.
Yeah, I've been practicing my. Somebody showed me a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio in one of his film roles, being very smug, and showed me that is how you do it. So I'm very much trying to replicate that at the moment.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
oh boy.
David is so invigorated by Osaka's form that he's learnt what a GIF is, and he's started recreating them.
But by the way, in that press conference, whatever that is that Naomi pulled out of her keister, whatever, I don't even know the name of it, and I refuse to know. I do not want to know what those things are. Is that
Labubus are they're the Frankie the Cat of the 2025 US Open.
Frankie
I'm calling
the Cat
it.
Is
really
Vondrousseva's
cat from 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I think Labubus it's a Gen Z thing, isn't it? I feel like
they're big.
It's not for me. It makes me feel a bit tired as well, but
yeah,
people are loving it.
All right. Fair enough.
Let's start, obviously, with Naomi Osaka's defeat of Coco Gauff, 6-3, 6-2, a dissection from Naomi Osaka of an already diced up game from Coco Gauff. Let's face it. Mary, you commentated in this. We all on this from the booth. We all watched it from various different spots. How similar or different or anything was this match to what you were expecting it to be?
I thought it was going to go like this because of Osaka's form and because of Coco's form. Coco's. I felt badly for her, not terrible for her, because she did serve better, but the fact that she won a major just a couple of months ago, and now she kind of feels like she's got to get her game down to the studs. I'm kind of thinking, like, what took her so long? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that she's not doing well enough, because of course she's doing great and she's a nice kid, but you can't have those grips. Those are like they're sort of criminal grips. And for her to, obviously she can win on clay and she can win on hard when she's confident. But when she's lacking that, she's got nowhere to go. And I was lucky enough, I called the match with Lindsay Davenport beside me, and she said right away that Tomasz Wiktorowski was going to give Osaka so much clarity. The guy's a great tactician. I can tell when Lindsay thinks highly of coaches and when she doesn't. Because we'll show a picture of some coach and she just kind of rolls her eyes. It's awesome. And she won't even say the guy's name. But she jumped in on Tomasz Wiktorowski, and again, that Osaka could play with so much clarity, and Coco doesn't have that right now. That's kind of what I expected.
She said, Naomi Osaka, I played smart today. She said, it was very easy for me to know what I have to do.
Yeah.
And that was what we saw out there, wasn't it? Osaka executed exceptionally, but it was extremely clear to see what she had to do, David.
Yeah, that was a game plan. She broke the forehand down. She was relentlessly targeting that side, and she has the ability. She was hitting the ball crisply from the first ball, was Osaka, and you could hear it when you're watching. I was watching your coverage, actually, Mary, and Catherine and Matt were in the stadium. And she has that ability, even from a central position with a backhand, to hit it inside out and target that forehand. And then occasionally she would just suddenly spread the play and go the other side, and you could see that Gauff was leaning the wrong way because she's so used to having to hit forehands. And some of them were, she didn't really seem to know what was coming off the strings from 1 minute to the next on that side. Some of them hit the middle of the net, some of them hit the back fence, some of them were good, but you can't play like that, not sustainably.
No, and look, frankly, the backhand was poor today as well from Gauff. Like that's her shot that's always there, and yet that went missing today. That was a real shock to me, particularly given what Mary said. You know, if you'd told me that Gauff would serve like she did today, I would have actually felt quite likely that this would have been a closer match. Like I really didn't see the ground strokes being as bad as they were today, and I know that it was easier for her to make them look better against Magdalena Frech without the pace, but I thought that she would at least be able to rally a little more with Osaka than she was today, and yeah, it felt like a bit of a regression, to be honest, whereas each match so far in the tournament had felt like she was just clearly nowhere near where she needed to be to, you know, bring her best level and win this thing. But I just thought she was progressing a little bit, and it kind of went away today, which was sad to see, because I was hyped for this match. I was sat next to Pam Shriver earlier, and she described it as a first namer, in that you refer to Coco and Naomi and you know who they are. They had like this stardom to it, this match, and it just fell a little bit flat, really. And I'm sure we're going to get into talking about Osaka and her prospects and David's prediction, and
I would suggest we do, yeah.
and we're all high on that. And I think the point about Rick Karofsky is interesting, because think of what he did with Swiatek's game. He actually streamlined it, and I think in time that ended up working against Swiatek, because Swiatek's someone who's got, you know, great movement, so many other things than just hitting big ground strokes. But with Osaka, it feels like that movement's there, the ground strokes are locked in, and she's got such a clear game plan, and she's executing it right now. So I'm happy from an Osaka perspective. I really, really am. But I did find the Gauff vibes tough today.
And we were in the press conference when Osaka said that Wiktorowski has explained to her that she doesn't have to play pants on fire tennis. You know, she moves well enough now to play rallies and to trust in those. And that, to me, that's a huge game changer, because you never knew what you were going to get with Naomi at times.
Yeah, she's not looking to pull the trigger all the time, is
right.
she? The rally tolerance today was incredibly good from Osaka.
Yeah, she had a wonderful expression, silent confidence.
Yeah, I love that.
In terms of how she trusts her movement to be in the right place, and then she can pick the right shot and not overplay. It's, you know, it is like Osaka of 5-6 years ago when she was winning her majors. You know, that was a quality she had then as well.
And yet, from Coco Gauff, 8 winners to 33 unforced errors. She couldn't get anywhere near the Osaka serve. Osaka did not have a great serving day. She served 42% first serves, and Gauff won 6 receiving points. So I guess, look, I think Naomi Osaka played brilliantly today, and I'm not high on Naomi Osaka. I really am. I'm excited about this, but I'm also looking at that Gauff. I'm trying to look at that Gauff performance objectively, and I'm not sure anybody in the top 20 would have failed to beat Coco Gauff today. Like she even, I can't believe I'm saying this about Coco Gauff, she looked emotionally flat to me. She looked like she didn't even have the juice in her to not fight. She was giving it everything, but you know, I talk about Coco Gauff dragging people into the trenches and leaning into playing a mess of a match. She didn't have it in her to make it messy today, and to give the crowd what they needed to create some mess themselves.
Yeah, we were hoping for more mud.
She even said flat in the press conference. She felt a bit flat. Where does flatness come from, do you think, in her world right now? Why is that happening?
You know, it was interesting that she said after the French Open she already knew that she wanted to make changes. Did that surprise you guys as well as it did me? I mean, obviously Clay gives her time to set up her shots and to hit with those grips and all that stuff. But I think, honestly, I think she is the captain of that whole squad, that whole team. I think she is more honest about her game than the people around her. And she knows that she has a lot to work on. She's a great player already, but she's got to deconstruct a lot of habits and a lot of strokes. And And I think she knows, you can't get orange juice out of an apple, okay? It's just not, like, you got to stop trying to act like you can.
Is the apple here the forehand and service grip?
Yes.
and the orange juice is making
my
forehands.
Aperol Spritz. No, you know what I mean?
Is it like almost more of a surprise to you how well she's done?
Yes,
with
that's
the
what I'm
grips
saying.
Than like a performance like this? Is this almost?
Look, she is
expected in some way to you.
She's a great fighter, and she's got a terrific attitude. All of that, but I mean, there's part of me that's thinking, should she be doing more? Should she have won more than 2 majors by now? I mean, she's so damn good in spite of some really flawed strokes. So I'm hoping to God that this new dude is going to straighten her out.
Do you think too much pressure is being applied to poor old Gavin McMillan, who everyone in the world knows what he looks like and knows what his name is now? I mean, I genuinely do wonder if the reason she didn't do this sooner is because he wasn't available. I mean, Coco Gauff has said...
Right.
We did this now, this suboptimal week before the US Open timing, is because Gavin became available and he's in such high demand. It felt like now or never, and we have to snap him up. It's starting to sound like she's been waiting for the messiah figure that is Gavin McMillan. And look, he seems to be a very well-adjusted, low-key kind of guy that backs his abilities and has the CV to support that. But it's a serious load of pressure on this guy and what he can do with that technique, right?
Yeah.
Are there other is he?
Is he the only
How
Gavin?
many expert biomechanics are there in the world?
Tell you what,
how rare is this?
That serve was looking the business today, in parts, wasn't it? I mean, she rolled through a couple of 110-mile-an-hour service games, and I thought, okay, well, the serve's all right. And really, that's probably what kept it from being 6-1, 6-1. But, yeah, I do find the acceptance from her absolutely fascinating. To win the French Open just a few months ago, and to be in such a ditch of despair like this, I can't remember a turnaround like that with any Grand Slam champion where they've suddenly felt as low about their own game when they've just won a Grand Slam.
Yeah, you win the French Open and you don't think that, the boat needs rocking. But now the boat needs rocking, right?
I guess what I love about Coco Gauff is that she's like, okay, she's down about the state of her own game within this tournament, but she's looking forward to doing the work. Like, she always is talking about ways to improve, and she's talking about it long term as well. She compared where she was, 4 years ago was the kind of time span she used, and said, if I can make a similar jump in the next 4 years as I've made in these 4 years, like, she didn't say this, but it was kind of like, what a player I'm going to be, right? And I just think you've got to... That's one of her superpowers, right? That she embraces that hard work, she relishes it, and I have to think that, okay, it strikes me that it's kind of hard to overhaul these strokes, and I don't think she's ever going to have the best technique on the WTA Tour on the forehand, for example. But I have to think that with her attitude, she will get better than this.
Like, I admire the long game. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Is this, I mean, look, maybe Coco Gauff takes it too much to the extreme and she's too hard on herself. And I think maybe that's something she recognises about herself. She tries to be kinder to herself, doesn't she? But is that humility and that desperation to get better all the time, no matter what the results, is that what separates the greats, the really exceptional players from the rest? We were talking about players who seem unable to truly take accountability for what's happening out there on the court the other night. I don't want poor old Denis Shapovalov to catch more strays from me than he already has, but think about how Daniil Medvedev was clinging on to his run to the Halle final despite all the other nonsense that was going on, and Taylor Fritz, bless him, thinking that his head-to-head against Novak Djokovic isn't important tomorrow. Like, I kind of love all the delusion. But is it...
I don't think Coco wants delusion.
Well, exactly.
I don't. I think she's tired.
What's better?
People are... look, she's a superstar. I'm crazy about her. But she's got, she wins the French Open, she flies back home to do a whole bunch of media stuff and, her clothing, whatever. And then she came into Wimbledon totally cold. She hadn't prepared, I wish she wasn't so famous. I think she... what I like about her, I've never heard her truly lie. And she even said she was putting up a game face to us today in press. She admits it. Of course she was devastated that she couldn't post today. But that's why I think I like the idea that I wish she'd be more in charge of the team, more in charge of her schedule, more in charge of her training blocks. This training block she's taking is only a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I asked her about that. What's the plan now? Do you feel like you need to step away from the tour to give this project the kickstart it needs with Gavin? Keep putting his name up in lights to ramp up the pressure on him. And she said, yeah, I'm taking a training block. But then she said, I've got until Beijing, which I was already signed up for. So actually it's just the natural lull in the tennis calendar. She's got, I guess, sort of a couple of weeks now before she'll have to start thinking about flying to Beijing. I mean, I suppose in the context of the tennis calendar, a week, 2 weeks is a long time, but
I don't know.
It's not.
I'd love to have seen her say goodbye to 2025.
Yeah,
and just.
But she also said, "I don't care about anything that happens after the
results.
She's on
the Grand Slam season."
Yeah, she said. I mean, good luck to people promoting the WTA finals because Coco Gauff couldn't give a toss whether she wins or not.
She said, I won it last year because I didn't care, basically.
She says,
the pressure was off.
She said, I've said this every year from the end of the US Open till Australia.
Yep.
The only important thing is improvement.
Yeah.
That is music to my ears.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Look, there's a lot to like about her, but for me, that's number one. Just call it straight.
Let's talk about Naomi Osaka. Mary, I know you were very taken with her body language in today's match.
I loved it right away. I mean, there was some old lady with this big ass bonnet on her head who was doing the coin toss, and Naomi came out, and she was already smiling, and she looked very relaxed. And then this little old lady, Naomi wanted to see who she was, she ducked underneath the bonnet to say hi to her.
She was 100 years old.
Yeah,
no,
she was 100 years old. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, she was, and right then I knew that she was in a great frame of mind. I mean, a happy warrior. She just wanted to be there. She felt good about it. She looked under the bonnet, just as she's looked under the hood of her own game. What a ridiculous metaphor. Yeah, I like where she's going. I don't know why you knew, David, that Osaka was going to have this kind of a U.S. Open. And I'm a bit indignant that you did know. But I'm happy for you.
So are these two.
I'm not indignant. I'm jury's out.
All right.
What I am.
Charming. She's just gone and beaten Coco Gauff. Jury's still out.
Yeah, you said she'd win it.
True. Yep. I've saved myself from humiliation. Now I've not got to move on to the...
I do think that hurdle has been cleared, which...
Yeah, there are 3 stages. There's save yourself from humiliation, then there's reply to the doubters, and then there's gloating.
Okay. We're at stage 1.
So we're... Okay. So it's like a rocket ship. You just lose those various pieces of the ship. All right, very good.
We're still in the Earth's atmosphere,
But, I mean, look, I have been at every Osaka match this week, and watching her body language has been one of the great fascinations because she is very different depending on the match. That's what I've seen, and we saw it as well. I referenced it to her in the press conference about the Montreal final body language. I know there was a lot going on there, and the crowd were involved, but she went from being a set-up to being really looking like she just couldn't handle this situation at all and looked terribly unhappy out there. And in the first couple of rounds, she kept talking about needing to have a good attitude. Those were her buzzwords, really. And yet she would still be very hyper on herself, really up in terms of celebrating winners and really giving herself come-ons, but also very hard on herself when she was missing. And then you could see her trying to process these misses and get over them. Today, there was none of that. The moment that Coco Gauff hit 210-mile-an-hour unreturnable serves in the third game, Osaka just smiled.
She smiled it up.
Yeah, and you could see her features were relaxed all the way through the match. She just looked like somebody happy to be there, happy to have this stage again, and she was enjoying herself.
I didn't see her coming back like this. I really didn't. And now, we've gone months without seeing Naomi's teeth, right? She barely smiles at all. And now I'm very happy for her.
It's the Labubus, Mary.
What's that?
It's the Labubus.
Don't stop that. I'm too old for Labubus.
Me too.
As much as this run is a great advert for David Law's predictive powers, do you know what it's not a great advert for? The services of Patrick Mouratoglou.
Yeah, well, I've referenced that a few times over the last year as well.
She's so different. I know it's not. It's too binary to draw just total cause and effect between results and coach, but everything just looks so different about her. That clarity, it was so muddy for so long for Naomi Osaka.
Yeah, and I like how Naomi described Wiktorowski. Like he's actually a teddy bear. He looks stern and
he's a grown-up, isn't he? And it's not about him.
Exactly. Oh, hello.
He's not getting in the way. He's not talking, getting himself up in headlines saying there are no stars in women's tennis when he's coaching one of the biggest ones in the sport.
Yeah.
He's just quietly doing his job.
Matt came in with a big Wiktorowski Marco Silva comparison earlier, which really is the highest praise he can give anyone.
This is the manager of my football team, Mary,
and
he followed. Well, a bit of a muppet, really, was our manager before him. So, draw your own conclusions about what I was getting at.
Naomi Osaka has Karolina Muchova next. Your Mookie, Mary.
Mookie. I love the Mookster. One of the most stylish players, but again, I don't see her hurting. I'm trying to figure out where she might hurt Osaka, and I'm not feeling it. Mookie's so good, but she had to get treated for what looked like a back injury. She's perpetually injured, and that's been such a tragedy for her career. I'm glad she's gotten this far. She's a pleasure to watch. But what is she going to do against Osaka? I don't know what she can do. Where does she attack Osaka from? I don't know.
It's interesting because she beat her last year, but it was a very different Osaka than this, and she has reached 2 semi-finals. I think the big thing is, how can you play your proper game when you're clearly physically as impeded as she is right now? There's a lot going on there.
And physically impeded, and there's an accumulation every round. She's played 3 sets every round, going right back to the first round against Venus Williams. She's just been on court a lot. She's got 12 sets in her legs. I think we've kind of said it after every round, haven't we? We're expecting Muchova to hit the wall. And with every time that she doesn't, it becomes more likely that she will in the next one. Because, I don't know, I think that game, her ability to come forward, her ability to be so precise with her attack, I think at her best she's a handful for anyone. But I do think that Osaka can take over that match with the way she's striking the ball right now, and some of the physical doubts that I think we'll have in a couple of days' time over Muchova.
In the encore interview, Karolina Muchova, after her win over Marta Kostyuk today on Grandstand, she was asked about. She said, "You're the queen of the marathon matches. You've gone 3 sets in all of them." She was like, I would like to hand back that title, please. That's not what I want to be. Give me a quick, easy match, please. So everyone's backing Osaka to reach the semis?
I am.
It's the Look, it's the tournament of the dormant volcanoes, and she's, as we said the other week, she's been the most dormant, and she is the most volcano when she erupts. So, by the way, Mukova, another dormant volcano, like not often around, but when she is, she can get into the latter stage of these majors. And
so there could be a lot of lava going on in this quarterfinal.
So much.
I like the idea of that. You don't even need to ask me.
But it'd be amazing if you went, no, I think Mukova. Just a change of heart.
Iga Swiatek, incredibly comfortable today, 6-3, 6-1 in 64 minutes over Katerina Alexandrova. It was so comfortable, she did the most damning thing possible to her opponent, and she hit the practice court afterwards.
That was very funny in the post-match press interview on court, because before she started speaking, she was sending somebody a text. And fair play to the interviewer, he said, we're going to get onto the match, but first of all, who are you sending the text to? And she said, just to my coach to go and book a practice court, because I'm going to go straight out there.
Oh boy, please tell me her opponent had left the court.
I think so, fortunately.
Yeah, she wasn't doing a Medvedev and just hanging around while Benjamin Bonzi rubbed it in her face. She was awesome today, Swiatek. Her first and only outing of the tournament on Armstrong. She awaits the winner of Amanda Anisimova and Beatriz Haddad Maia, who play in the last match tonight. So we'll talk about that in part 2. Matt,
how are you feeling, Matt?
I'm feeling good, and that's what makes me nervous.
It's an opportunity, isn't it?
They're not like me, Mary. I just assume it's all going to be fine.
Just on Swiatek today, I thought this could be a stressful match for her against Alexandrova with those flat hits. There was a real, to me anyway, obvious turning point in this match when, Alexandrova miss of the tournament to get broken in that first set for 4-3, literally on top of the net, and she just tried to caress the ball over the net, and it went straight down into the net. It was a horrible miss, and she didn't recover for about 20 minutes. She was kind of sulky, kind of slumpy after that, and Swiatek just took it and ran with it, and just because it had been a bit of a tense start. She did a couple of double faults, Swiatek, in her first service game, and got broken, and they were even to 3-all. But then from that point on, Swiatek was absolutely sublime in this match, and I think probably her best performance of the tournament, actually, just at the right time after a couple of trickier performances leading into this.
Let's talk about the men's matches we've seen today. Let's start with one you commentated on, Mary. Felix Auger-Aliassime, 7-6, 6-3, 6-4, comprehensive over Andrei Rublev, a man that he had lost 7 of
7-1,
eight previous meetings with. So he had overturned the head-to-head deficit against Zverev in the previous round, and now he does it against Rublev. Is that evidence of a new Felix?
I would love that to be true. I really would. He's just such a gentleman. He's a class above in those ways to a lot of the guys in that locker room. And I've always liked his game. Jim Courier did such a great... he explained so well why Felix Auger-Aliassime hasn't done what Jim thought he would do. And it's off of the backhand. He thinks he rolls the backhand too much. And it's less a weapon than it should be.
Just on that, I was listening to that, and I was mouth agape, lapping in it was such a gosh, someone's finally explained it. It was incredible analysis. He says there's just so much topspin on his backhand that he's makes him unable to be aggressive in backhand to backhand exchanges. He can't hit down on the ball at all. No. But it does make him, when his backhand is able to come into its own, when he's able to use width and angles, and he's good with a target. He's good at backhand passing shots, but in terms of backhand to backhand exchanges, it's just easy meat for your top players that have a reliable backhand that can be a weapon when they need it, because they just know they can sit into those rallies and Felix cannot hurt them.
The only thing I like more than sitting next to Jim Courier when there's a real match going on is when we're sitting there watching a stinker. because then he really goes off the rails.
We love that too. We had a message. We had a message from Hannah in the first set of this match. Let's just say this wasn't a Hannah Wilkes coded tennis match. This is not this.
She wasn't into this.
Rublev against Auger-Aliassime it's just not her vibe.
Okay,
she's a Mukova gal.
Different folks, different strokes. She said, you know, this match is everything you feared it would be when Carillo's busting out the Bollettieri impression in set one.
That is definitely the warning sign.
But it did prove fertile ground for just a fantastic conversation and the picking of Jim Courier's brain.
Yes, that's what I try to do. I mean, and I try to do it early in sets so we don't get in the way of, of any kind of tension.
And he did the Rublev second serve as well.
And exactly right. I mean, he's just
so
damn
simple.
Good.
What's wrong with
How have I not
No,
noticed that
because he always
before?
middles. He always goes body. Every
Same
damn
place
second
every
serve.
time. Jim Courier said pretty much on the second Rublev service point of the match.
Yep. Watch. You said watch.
Every single time it's going to go here. I staked my reputation on it.
Yeah.
And it did. Went to the same place every time.
Yeah, I'm just crazy about Jim. I'm so lucky to work with him a lot.
What I don't understand though, Mary, is when there's something that obvious, maybe not to me, but to obviously people that know the game, like, why isn't Rublev doing something about that?
It'll be interesting to see what Marat Safin will bring to this party, right? Jim
I have some
at some
slanderous
point,
answers speculating about what Marat Safin might be bringing to the party.
Well, at one point, Jim said that Marat, because I had mentioned that Rublev had said he doesn't talk much, but only when he really has something to say. He's a sensei, and I had to bring up the fact that Sensei Safin dropped his shorts in the middle of a match during a French Open.
This is true. That did happen.
Okay,
Is this a different Felix?
And what is different? Is this just he's suddenly feeling a bit of confidence off a couple of wins and probably isn't that repeatable? Or has he found something? Has he found some missing link, I wonder?
He was just so focused. It was such a nice, tight match from him. It was so contained. He never got rattled, which is kind of... It's not like he has a huge weapon that he can throw down against people. He's got to build points. He's got to... clearly has worked very hard to make his game more solid, more difficult to play against. And I don't know. I've always liked him so much as a man that I'm very happy that he seems to be putting in the work. He says, I've had to learn patience. I've had to learn to be humble. He's had some injuries that have really set him back, a knee, a back. He's lost some valuable time. And he must feel like players like Sinner and Alcaraz have stormed away from him because they do have so much more game. But if the game he has is held together well, I really hope he reaches the top of his game. Is that what you think?
Yes, it is. I'm always impressed when someone backs up a big win.
Yeah.
And that was a big win he had.
Yeah, that would have been a bummer, really.
Zverev. Like that, he could well have...
If it had not.
He could well have got up for that match, and then I really thought this could be a nervy affair with two players with a big opportunity in front of them. And to me, Auger-Aliassime didn't seem nervous at all. He seemed very focused, very, as you said, very He's a grown-up. And there was a moment at the end of the first set where he had some set points, and his forehand got away from him. I think Jim was pretty much calling it a choke in commentary.
Yeah, he said that was an outright gag.
Right.
He said,
That's my man. My main man, Jim Courier.
And look, part of it is, he got another opportunity. Had he been playing a Sinner or an Alcaraz, you get one chance against them, and that might have been it. But against Rublev, he got another chance, and he jumped on it, and he started hitting his forehand a lot better again as this match went on, and he overpowered Rublev. I thought, like the ease of Auger-Aliassime's power today really struck me. I was courtside for this one, and I was impressed with him. It did feel like what we always thought his game would be: athletic,
Yes.
contained in a way that it often doesn't look that way. He can often spray the ball, but he wasn't doing any of that today.
But
He's a
imposing.
thoroughgoing professional, right?
Totally. And again, him against de Minaur in the quarterfinals is another one of those big opportunity matches.
For both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the good news for both of them. They don't have to face either Sinner or
Right,
Alcaraz,
exactly.
which makes it just so tantalising. Is this going to be about who deals with that size of opportunity the best?
Good question, because I remember the Auger-Aliassime de Minaur Davis Cup match in the final of 3 years ago, and Felix was flying high at that time. He was the best player in that tournament, and it was clear that he was going into that final as the best player. And de Minaur, you know what he's like. He's a warrior. He's happy to just throw himself to the dogs in order to try to win any point. But he couldn't cope. He couldn't cope with the power that day. And since then, Felix has dropped like a stone, really, in terms of the ranking and his confidence. And de Minaur's just gradually built and become a better tennis player. I think that Auger-Aliassime showed he had the blueprint. He has the game to beat de Minaur. I don't know. But, is he going to keep repeating? This is the thing. Or is it just a couple of confident matches and then maybe he returns to the mean of what his game has been the last 3 years?
Oh, I hope this becomes his base.
Me too.
What
do you think? Who do you think is going to win that? De Minaur and Auger-Aliassime?
Who do I think will win? I'm going to give a slight edge to Felix.
Yeah, I would say the same.
Musetti, the other winner that we've had so far today in the singles, incredibly comfortable, 6-3, 6-love, 6-1, continuing to fill the Jack Draper role at the 2025 US Open.
I said everyone who plays Musetti falling apart in front of him. I just was chatting with the Spanish journalists. Munar has laryngitis.
Oh, poor bloke.
Poor bloke.
Dear.
But, again, what is going on with this Musetti draw? I'm pleased for him. I'm thrilled he's in the quarterfinals. He's one of my favourite players to watch. And he said it in his post-match interview. He said, last month has been terrible. I've been sad about my game, sad about my results. But he was kind of joking about it. He's changed his serve. And he's in the quarterfinals. I still have no idea how he's playing. It might be even more extreme than Draper last year. I mean, Draper's carried on to the semis because he played de Minaur in the quarters, who had that hip problem and really couldn't move very well. So that's my Musetti analysis. I think he's
It's a bit vague.
He's intending to do really good things. I think his intentions are good, but they've not been tested yet.
We know as much as he does.
Right. And I'm usually so high on Musetti, and I am pleased about this, but this draw...
It's a good ranking builder, isn't it?
Great.
It's going to get even better when he faces Alexander Bublik in the quarterfinals, isn't it?
Well...
How silly is that going to sound when people come back for part 2? Mary, thank you so much for joining us.
I love being
on
with you
part
guys.
1. I'll let you sip the dregs of your Aperol Spritz the dregs of summer that we are so enjoying here in New York this fortnight. And we will join you in part 2 to find out exactly how silly that line about Alexander Bublik turns out to be. Welcome back to part 2 of tonight's tennis podcast, recording at Flushing Meadows, New York. It is now 10:45 in the evening and all play is done for the day, and that's because we've seen 2 absolute blowouts on the Arthur Ashe Stadium tonight. Oh, how you must have all been laughing at me when I suggested that Alexander Bublik had even the faintest chance against Jannik Sinner. Let's start there. Sinner defeating Bublik 6-1, 6-1, 6-1. What on earth happened to Alexander Bublik, David?
Well, Catherine, I think I might have used the word ambushed last night. Well, somebody got ambushed. It's just that it was the other bloke. And, I mean, I did couch it by saying if he played his best, then I thought that could happen. He was so far from his best, Alexander Bublik, that it was unrecognisable from the player that we have seen play at his best against Jack Draper, against Jannik Sinner, beating him on the grass earlier this year and in the previous round against Tommy Paul, and having been a player who had not dropped his serve all tournament, the first thing he did in the very first game of the match was to lose his serve. And Matt and I were sitting together at that time, and we kind of looked at one another and thought, okay, his serve's not working. And nothing was working. He foot-faulted. He was hitting drop shots. I think the first 8 drop shots that he hit, he lost the point. He hit a double fault of underarm serves, one after another, in the first set. And I think what actually happened, I mean, I think it's very easy to look at the score and think, Sinner must have been absolutely awesome all the way through. And I definitely feel like Bublik was trying to paint it as that in the way that he kind of joshed with Sinner at the net and did his little social media post of AI or whatever it was, and tried to make out like, this guy's unbeatable, of course I lost. Well, actually, in the first set, Sinner didn't really have much of a say in any of it. Bublik was absolutely awful, and I think he came out cold for whatever reason, whether it was nerves or whether it was just one of those days. He was so bad he couldn't do any of the things that he's famous for, and therefore it was sort of 4-love after 14 minutes. And thereafter, I think Sinner was so relaxed that he did start to play really well, but Bublik never got going.
It's all straight from the Nick Kyrgios playbook, isn't it? If you don't try, you can't fail. And I'm not saying he was outright tanking tonight, but he was searching for the narrative of this guy's AI, that's a bailout. That is an absolute psychological bailout. This guy is just absolutely too good. I think he has a serious mental situation going on, which he can probably function pretty well with for the majority of his career. I think it's dormant unless he plays the very top guys that he doesn't think he can beat fair and square. I think that's when it comes into play. I think most players, he thinks he can beat fair and square, so he's happy to be himself and try. But he didn't. My armchair psychoanalysis of tonight is he didn't think he and his game were enough to beat Jannik Sinner tonight, so he psychologically bailed out. That's what it felt like to me. And
well, I think it's fair enough. And given that we'll come on to talk about another player who was very heavily beaten tonight, who didn't stop trying from point one to point at the end, I think you see a very different approach to the sport. And look, it's easy for me to sit here and say what he could and should have done, but it was really disappointing, and I'm sitting there in front of an absolutely packed crowd of people, 24,000 people who've paid top dollar to be there, and when he threw the underarm serves in, they booed. They let him off the hook after that because he hit one worldie when he was 6-1, 6-1 down, and he waved his hand as if to say, come on, give me some love, and they did. And they sort of cheered him off the court after he'd lost in an hour and 12 minutes. Okay, I mean, look, it's losing to Jannik Sinner is no disgrace, but
that's it. That's why it's an easy bailout option, though, isn't it? It's there, it's at your fingertips.
I'd love to have seen him dig in, like really dig in, and just think, okay, these shots aren't working, I'm going to do something, I'm just going to make the guy work or something.
Is anyone in the world compiling stats on underarm serve double faults? I'm sad to say I'm not sure even Matt Roberts has stats on underarm serve double faults, but I would love to declare that a first.
Certainly the first I've heard of.
Right, that's enough for me. We had a foot fault double fault from Maxime Cressy, I believe.
Iconic
in itself at the Australian Open a while back. But this is the first underarm serve double fault, and I'm please don't misinterpret my laughing at this as any kind of slight on the art of the underarm serve. I love nothing more, but an underarm serve double fault is iconically bad.
And quite funny.
Yeah. And look, I said that Bublik, I felt, was the
second most likely guy in this draw to beat Sinner. Look, let's not rewrite what we said about this. We did think that this was a genuine threat to Jannik Sinner tonight, given Bublik's top level. The flip side of that is he was also probably the most likely guy to get absolutely blown out. I thought Sinner would win. I didn't think it would look like this. I thought there would be at least a moment where Bublik rattled him and scared him and brought some of what he could to the match, but he lost his opening service game, as David's described. He lost his next service game as well, and then there wasn't really that much resistance from him. But I do think Sinner, from what I saw, played well tonight, and honestly, like, his draw now, Musetti, Auger-Aliassime and de Minaur are the players left in his half. All very, very good players, but I really don't look at any of them as threats to Jannik Sinner. We know the head-to-head against de Minaur. We saw him play Auger-Aliassime just a few weeks ago. I know Auger-Aliassime's been a lot better this tournament, but even so, it's hard to believe that would be that tough for Sinner. And then, Musetti in the quarterfinals, his fellow Italian, just think he's going to be able to rush him and kind of hit him off the court is my feeling.
Our resident Musetti guy isn't doing a great job of hyping up that match, which is a worry.
So, like, this is, I guess what I'm saying is, like, not only has he won this match tonight, Jannik Sinner, but just feels like big picture has been a really good day for Sinner in terms of his draw and his prospects and his chances of getting to that final, which were high anyway, but just feel not a dead cert, because nothing is, but almost as close to that as you could get right now, it feels like.
Second match on Ash tonight, another blowout, quite frankly, but as David hinted at, quite a different one in terms of feel. Just a total golfing class between Amanda Anisimova and Beatriz Haddad Maia, but no golfing effort whatsoever. 6-love, 6-3 for Anisimova, who, Matt, we watched a period of this together and you said she's feeling it tonight, Anisimova. She was going for everything, and okay, she missed a few, there were some errors in there, but the type of errors she was making, I think, indicated how she was feeling about her game.
Yeah, she was trying audacious shots, because the way she was hitting the ball tonight, they had a chance of going in. They weren't bailout shots, she genuinely thought she could make them, but she just jumped all over Haddad Maia right from the start of this match. I said in part one, I felt like Anisimova was going to win. I think matchup-wise, the lefty Haddad Maia serve and forehand into the Anisimova backhand is just great for Anisimova. The Haddad Maia serve is a weak shot anyway, especially the second serve, and Anisimova can get on top of that. Anisimova's serving really well this tournament. I mentioned that the other day, and she kept up her high percentage tonight. She was great. And I think what I like most about the performance is she was up a set and a break, she got pegged back, but that put her to work. Like, she just immediately made sure that this match didn't get away from her. It was fully in her control, and she was also desperate for the double break. She didn't get it at 4-2, but she was pushing for it, and she knew that she needed to do that because Haddad Maia doesn't let matches go and always competes to the very end, and had a lot of Brazilian support tonight. Like, it could have gone another way, but Anisimova just didn't let it. These conditions, cool night, absolutely perfect for her, I think. And yeah, definitely her best performance of the tournament, her best ball striking day so far, where you've just thought, okay, the game's clicking, she's feeling confident. Best she's played all tournament.
There was a moment, I think, in the third game when Haddad Maia was serving. She'd already lost the serve, and it was very clear that Anisimova is on it, like you say. The ball is just pinging out the centre of the racket. both sides. That's the other thing. She can hurt you so much with both forehand and backhand.
The forehand has got so much better.
Yeah, but in the second Haddad Maia service game, I think she's love 15 down, she did a first serve where she tried to go down the middle, and she missed the centre service line to the side by about 8 feet. It was just completely going in the wrong direction. And I thought, this is like Bublik. She's just completely frozen here. She's got no feel, no timing at all. And then she double faulted. And then it was a disaster. It was both things at the same time. Brilliant Anisimova, the worst version of Haddad Maia. And then she won 1 point when she was about 5 love down, and she just goes, come on, and she's really, and it's not one of those where you think, don't be ridiculous, you're way behind. She's trying to will her way back into this contest, and she actually ended up making the second set games competitive, and she held on. And I thought we were looking at a double bagel when it was 6 love 1 love. I thought, I don't think she wins the game here, but fair play to her. She just dug in, and I do wonder what would have happened if you stuck that attitude in Bublik. But anyway, they're two different people. I accept that. You probably don't get the heights of Bublik if you have a completely different personality. I don't know, but Haddad Maia is somebody I have enormous respect for, but Anisimova is somebody I have great excitement and anticipation for, because she has bounced back from that Wimbledon. I realise that isn't a fully formed bounce back until she actually plays the woman she ended up on the other end of a 6 love from. But it's good going, this, isn't it?
Well, the good news for her is she doesn't have to wait too long now to get the opportunity to fully bounce back, because the Wimbledon final repeat is on. Matt, how you feeling?
Oh, the PTSD. No, look, I asked her about it at the start of the tournament. Do you want to play Iga Swiatek? And she said yes. I don't necessarily think she knew her draw. I don't think she knew that was on as early as this in the quarterfinals. But it's here now. And she said, I want to play her when I'm like myself. Because there are definitely aspects of that matchup that I think are problematic for Anisimova. The width that Swiatek just naturally generates on her ground strokes is going to be a problem. It's a problem for better movers than Anisimova. It's world class, that of Swiatek. But I genuinely think there are parts of Anisimova's game that she just didn't bring to that Wimbledon final because of nerves and because of exhaustion and because of the moment, that can hurt Swiatek as well. Like, the ball striking, Swiatek's not going to like that if Anisimova can bring it. If she can serve like she has done, and if she can take advantage of maybe Swiatek not serving like she was earlier in the year, which she generally hasn't been this tournament. All the reasons I was excited about Anisimova's chances going into the Wimbledon final are still there. They've been a little bit dampened by what happened in that Wimbledon final, but I do genuinely think she's a big threat here, Anisimova. And
she has a good day.
If she has a good day, it's going to be so much about the start, I think. Like,
yeah, if she goes like
if she
3
goes
love
3 love down or something like that,
and trauma
right.
starts flooding back to her and to you.
Right. And look, maybe then the crowd can carry her a little bit, and she just needs to get over the Wimbledon experience. Yeah. However
win the
that
toss,
may be.
choose to serve, hold.
Right.
It's already, but like, you're in credit. Boom. Everything from here is upside.
She's not exhausted physically.
Totally. It's a big difference.
Big deal, that. She's expended very little energy.
And she just had the biggest moment of her life, beating Sabalenka in that Wimbledon semi-final.
That would have felt like a summit in itself.
Right.
Yeah.
She had a very stressful route through to that Wimbledon final in terms of 3-set matches and tight moments that, she's not really had that this tournament. She's going to do a lot better.
And
I feel good about
She
that.
hasn't got the whole Wimbledon final paraphernalia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
An
The
occasion
silence,
to
the
deal
stillness,
with.
Yeah.
the walk. You know, Iga Swiatek, who's won every Grand Slam final she's played in, like, there was just so much that was intimidating about that.
This is more like just another tennis match. It's a big one.
And in front of a crowd that'll be supporting her big time.
It's exciting.
And you'll be fit and well this time?
Well, let's hope. I thought I was going to be last time.
Last result to cover from today. The run of Venus Williams and Leylah Fernandez continues. Probably the match of the day in terms of... In fact, not probably. The match of the day in terms of the two main show courts today. This over on Armstrong, the final match of the day there. 6-3, 6-4. I mean, still not a thriller in itself, but it's a pretty low bar to clear to be the match of the day on Ash and Armstrong. And look, the crowd just lapped this up. Absolutely lapped it up.
Wonderful. It was the story of the grounds today. Everybody was talking about it. And Venus Williams is saying that she is going to be on her sister's case to come and be part of it all because she wants her here. And
She's got to get here tomorrow, not before 4, I think, against Townsend and Siniakova.
Yeah, against the top seeds.
It's a hell of a match.
that's cool.
Yeah, it really is cool. Okay, that's it for part 2. We'll be back in part 3 to look ahead to tomorrow. Welcome back to part 3 of tonight's tennis podcast. Let's look ahead to tomorrow, Tuesday, September 2nd, day 10 of this US Open. The quarterfinal stage is upon us. We still start at 11:30 on Arthur Ashe Stadium with Jessica Pegula against Barbora Krejcikova. Predictions, please.
I find it's a really difficult one to predict, but Krejcikova has just dashed the hopes of a couple of Americans and is so capable. I'm going to go Pegula. I think Krejcikova might run out of gas a little bit this time. These have been hard-fought matches. Pegula's had things straightforwardly. She's relentless and consistent and is going to be her best self, I think, with the crowd behind her. I think she'll enjoy that. I'm going to go Pegula.
Matt.
Finding this really hard because Pegula has just not played anyone in the class and calibre of Krejcikova on this run. Like, she's had a very kind draw, and look, she's done well because she's lost to those sorts of players at the slams this year. That those have been the sorts of players to trip her up. So it's a good run from Pegula, and she's been really clinical in first sets. And, you know, in her most recent match, she was better in the second set as well. But I don't know, I pause on, like, Pegula's playing brilliantly because we just haven't seen her against that standard of opponent. But I do agree with David on the Krejcikova hitting the wall thing. Like, I don't know how many matches like the last 2 she's got left in her, you know, where she has a slow, sluggish start and works her way in. I think Pegula's playing at a level that if she does start like that again, Krejcikova, Pegula might be able to put her away in a way that Townsend wasn't. So I think I'm leaning Pegula as well, but mostly on reasons of potential Krejcikova exhaustion. All things being equal, tennis against tennis, I think I will be back in Krejcikova.
Lehechka Alcaraz, second matchup. I think we're all going for an Alcaraz
Yeah, that one's easier.
victory.
Yes.
Yeah. Night session.
Remember how boring their Queen's final
I
was?
do. That's why I'm moving on quickly, Matt.
Yeah.
It was turgid.
It was the grass, right?
Lehechka,
But Lehechka I think grass is his best surface.
But it was boring because of
Right.
the grass and like the way they were serving, and there were just a few chances.
Yuri Lehechka, you've made Carlos Alcaraz boring.
He did. I remember having a real moment during that, thinking, "Oh God, like, please don't ruin Alcaraz."
Well, that's a good hype job for tomorrow. Great.
I do think it's different on grass.
I think so.
I actually think tomorrow will be a good match, like a good the good rallies.
He's got a win over him on hard court. The Hedgecoe beat him in Doha, I want to say.
Yes, I think so. And I saw highlights of that in the run-up to that Queen's match. And it was one of those where Alcaraz was pulling rabbits out of hats in order to win amazing points, but he wasn't winning the run-of-the-mill stuff. That's where
That's what he's doing so well.
He's doing more now.
Yeah.
But I think the Hedgecoe will give a good account of himself, but I just feel more confident in Alcaraz's state of mind and approach and solidity than I ever have. So, yeah, I think it'll be him.
The predictions don't get any easier here because night session starts with Aryna Sabalenka against Marketa Vondrousova. I'm going to ask for a Vondrousova prediction from you both.
Not allowed.
The faces these two are making. I make the rules here.
Sabalenka.
I want a prediction.
I'm going Sabalenka as well. I'll go Sabalenka in 3.
Yeah, I like that. I do just have a lot of faith in Sabalenka in these matches in this sort of time in a slam. She's got that really good record against Vondrousova on hard courts. I think that was such a good performance from Vondrousova against Rybakina, like seeing that again. She's capable, but I guess I would be a bit surprised if she plays as well again. And Sabalenka's got her tie-break record, like Vondrousova's probably going to have to do it not with tie-breaks, and maybe that feels difficult. Yeah, I'm going Sabalenka. But I'm really looking forward to that one. That's the match I'm most looking forward to tomorrow.
Last match of the day tomorrow, Djokovic against Fritz.
I'm going
I think everyone's
Djokovic.
Going Djokovic. I would like sets, please.
4.
I'm also going 4 close, tight, hard-fought sets for Novak Djokovic. I do think that Fritz, if he could just turn an extra one of those sets in his favour and take it long, I think he might be able to wear Djokovic down and maybe even impose an injury or something like that. I know that sounds horrible, but that has been happening more and more to Djokovic. But ultimately, I think Djokovic will probably just play those bigger points, the better of the two, and end up winning it in 4.
Okay, well, we'll be back with the Tennis Podcast at the end of all of it. I will say hello to our mascots, Maisie, Phoebe and Roger. Hello to our top folks and executive producers, Greg and Jeff and Chris, who we saw today.
Yeah,
We did.
right, Chris.
Lovely Chris.
Popped up on our row in the media centre. What a delight.
Yeah, that was great.
And we're going to catch up later in the week as well.
Yeah, Matt's going to share views about draws. Try and be an influencer. We love you, Chris. Thank you very much for your support. We are, of course, part of the Athletic Podcast Network. Matt, let's have some shout-outs.
We start with Adam Maundrell in Sydney.
All right, Adam.
Hello, Adam.
Adam says, I've been listening since 2018. My first episode was Matt's Hatchanov takes.
Oh, big.
Wow.
Which is wild to me.
Adam, you were there at the start of an era.
Wow.
Adam says, I love the pod and lurking on the barge. Just has Wimbledon to go to complete his fan career golden slam. So must have been to an Olympics.
Adam.
Like Adam Hogg, the ATP Finals Tournament Director. There you go.
Are there no
You're welcome.
tennis playing Adams?
I can't think of any. We've had this before.
Have we? Is Adam a
I've got a name
perpetual
in mind.
black spot?
Pavlicek? Yes, Adam Pavlicek.
Adam Pavlicek.
Check.
Yeah, very well done.
Love the way you're saying that, Catherine. It's like, oh yeah, Adam Pavlicek.
Pavlicek and Hogg, the big 2. And this one, the big 3. Adam from Sydney, Adam Hogg, Adam Pavlicek, the big 3.
Correct.
Thank you, Adam.
And next up, we have 2 birthday shout-outs.
Oh, lovely.
The first one is from Emma Gillette for her husband, Sam.
Aww.
Splendid work, Emma.
It was Sam who introduced Emma to the pod during COVID.
Well done, Sam.
She thought it would be lovely to give him a US Open shout-out for his birthday on September 1st, which is today as we're recording.
Happy birthday, Sam!
Happy birthday, Sam. Yeah, you're probably listening to this on September 2nd, but I promise you, as we are speaking, it is your birthday, September 1st, and we are wishing you a very happy one. That's a lovely birthday thing to do.
Yeah, and Sam likes Sam Querrey.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Sam Querrey this tournament.
Yeah. Heard him commentating today.
And our second birthday shout-out is for Jeff McAvoy. And Jeff's birthday is the 2nd of September. So, presumably, hopefully, when he's listening to this.
Hey!
Happy birthday, Jeff!
Happy birthday, Jeff.
And this comes from Jeff's partner, Ricky.
Good work, Ricky.
Ricky says, my name is Ricky, and this is a birthday shout-out for my partner Jeff, who stumbled across the tennis podcast earlier this year and suddenly introduced us to a whole new pastime we did not know we craved so much. Though not playing tennis often, Jeff is an avid tennis fan. It's not unusual to find him consulting the latest score updates, planning the next tournament escapade, or hiding away from the TV when his favourite player, Jannik Sinner, loses more than 2 points in a row. So not much hiding tonight.
Not much hiding at all. Wow, brilliant night.
So much fun into our week. We hope to be able to see one of your live shows, and we look forward to seeing Blonde Matt soon.
Don't we all?
Well,
happy birthday, Jeff.
Jeff, we hope to deliver the ultimate birthday present come Saturday.
What would I rather, though? Would I rather Osaka win it and I get all the credit, or would I rather Matt go blonde? Ah, the choices.
They're both good outcomes.
Both. We are so up. We are so up. Folks, thank you ever so much for listening. Jeff, Adam, and who am I missing?
Sam. Courtesy of Emma.
Birthday Sam. Jeff, Adam and Sam, thank you ever so much for listening to and supporting the Tennis Podcast. If you would like to get yourself a shout out, an intro, a pet mascot slot, then the link to do all of that is in our show notes, and being a friend of the Tennis Podcast gets you access to all of our bonus episodes. It gets you access to The Barge, our safe community space to chat about tennis. It gets you access to Hannah's column. She's just posted her week one thoughts, which are of course excellent. It gets you ad-free listening. It gets you all sorts of things. So we'll post the link to that in our show notes as always. Check it out if you fancy it. Do check out our Instagram, which is where we post all of our BTS and other fun stuff. We'll post a link to subscribe to our newsletter in the show notes as well. That's where you can find Matt's stat. And we will also post a link to get tickets to our upcoming live show in Wrexham. Yes, Wrexham of Welcome to Wrexham fame. We can welcome you to Wrexham on October the 22nd. Come and see us, folks. Link in the show notes. Thank you for listening. We'll speak to you tomorrow.